Guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a good weekend. Don't forget to look, at the rest of the channel. If you've missed anything the past few days, hashtag restore the Snyderverse. If you're on Twitter, make sure you've been, tweeting it out. Keep it up there. Keep the count going so we can trend it and all that good stuff. A couple interesting things I want to share with you today. First of all, I want to share an article about Mortal Kombat. I don't usually like using Collider articles, but I just sometimes if the quotes from the people or directors, whoever they are, if the quotes are interesting, then I do like to kind of talk about them. And this is coming from the Mortal Kombat producer Todd Garner, and he's talking about the movie's long development, including MCU influences, and that's why I think this is pretty interesting since this is a Warner Brothers property. Overall, I did watch Mortal Kombat over the weekend. Overall, I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was great. I didn't think it was terrible. I thought it was okay. The opening sequence that I did a reaction to when that was released earlier in the week, I think that was probably one of the better parts of the film. But I do think the casting choices for, the main character, Cole, I'm glad that Louis Tan is kind of coming out and speaking out about Asian actors in Hollywood. I'm glad that he's doing that and representing. But as far as Scorpion and Sub-Zero, of course they're interesting, and cool in the movie, but like as far as story, it was all right. Wasn't the best, but it was okay. It was okay. It wasn't terrible. So again, the producer Todd Gardner has some interesting things to say about their approach for the Mortal Kombat movie. Now, I didn't know that this IP had been, this IP based movie had been in production for about 9 years in development before they actually made the film. So he's kind of just talking about how he got involved with the movie and kind of, like I said, the approach that they decided to take. He said 5 years ago, I got involved. They had been developing it for 4 years. And it was right around the time that Kevin, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry about this name, Tansharin, I'm so sorry, Kevin series released. So this is referring, early in the article, it says that the origins of the movie began with the Mortal Kombat Legacy live action TV series, which was like a low budget web show from this director, Kevin. I'm not going to even butcher his last name. So sorry about that. And so going back to the quote, they had the idea that maybe just go super dark and kind of like The Crow. Kevin's stuff was super contained. Obviously, the guy was doing it on a shoestring budget and it was very dark and kind of contained. And so when I read the script they gave me, the movie to work on, I said, this isn't what we should do, which was stupid probably. I said, this isn't what we should do. We should really try to open this up. And they were gracious enough to go, okay, if we were going to do that, let's do it. So we brought producer James Wan on, and I totally forgot he was part of this too. So sorry, I forgot about that. And brought writer Greg Russo on and said, okay, if you were really going to do this and not just try to make it like The Crow, not just try to make it like Kevin did, where he's like, well, I only have like this much money, so I'm going to be in an apartment building with guys kicking the crap out of each other. What would you do? And so we started from the premise of what would Marvel do? So that's interesting because, why would you think about Marvel? I understand that, yeah, okay, it's arguably the most successful movie franchise. Up there with like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. But Marvel, they don't really have anything that you can compare to Mortal Kombat. Okay, you could argue that with DC, yeah, they're both superhero genres and they have, maybe some characters that you can compare against each other that are kind of similar. But Mortal Kombat, like, just because they are wildly successful in their franchise, that doesn't mean that every movie or every franchise that you're starting should be taken in the same approach, because what Marvel does works for them. And so I think, any other franchise, you could be inspired by kind of like a format or a blueprint or something like that. But I do think with how different, but kind of if they're similar, like Zack Snyder had said, he had something in mind, like the Lord of the Rings trilogy, but he wasn't talking about like specifically like, the tone. He's talking about like, they're epic in scale. They have, deep storytelling and things like that. maybe thematic things, but not like, I don't know. I don't see these. I don't see how you would approach a Mortal Kombat movie with a Marvel mindset. Very different. So, you know, he goes on to say, you started with one guy who was a point of access, which is Iron Man in the MCU, and you kind of wandered into the Avengers. You didn't just start with the Avengers. So who would be that guy for us? There were a few ideas that were just hard because they were super specific. They were super specific. If you came in with Liu Kang, it would be a weird adjustment. So we said, okay, maybe we just start neutral and come into the movie and then really set up the canvas where we can meet all of the characters that people love. You're never going to get everybody's favorite character. I always like to say to people, who do you normally play? And then I'm like, well, okay, that movie is not this one. But we really tried to get the right characters in and tried to be intelligent about whether we were just throwing characters in just to have them in the movie so we can placate people, or do they really belong in the movie? So that then became the weeding out process. So, and that's when he was kind of talking about, it says, utilizing the new main character, Cole Young, which is played by Lewis Tan. So it's a really strange comparison. And I don't think he's necessarily trying to compare, the material of Mortal Kombat to Marvel. He's kind of, obviously he was kind of talking about like, how do you get from just starting with Iron Man to the Avengers? But that's not necessarily, you can't necessarily take that approach with the same within one movie. I mean, if you're trying to, introduce these characters that people who play the game know and love and things like that. I don't know. I just think it's kind of interesting that that's kind of the approach they took, being that these movies are, their material so wildly different. Yeah, I just thought that was kind of interesting. And seeing, I mean, the movie is pretty short. It's under 2 hours, if I'm not mistaken, Mortal Kombat. I do think that, it could have maybe benefited from a little bit more story. There were some kind of issues with that for me, as far as the story and, things of that nature. But we'll see. I mean, Lewis Tan said that he was on for 4 movies total in this franchise. I personally would be surprised if this franchise ends up getting 4 films. I think maybe it'll get a sequel. That's just my personal opinion. I don't, that's not coming from anywhere except just me speculating. I think maybe it'll get a sequel, but I don't know if it'll get 4 films. I think that's, I mean, I would like to see Sub-Zero and Scorpion's characters again, and I would like to see that again for sure. I think Lewis Tan, as Cole was, like I said, I'm glad that he's sharing in the LA Times article about how, how he's proud to be representing the Asian community and, the challenges that come with that. And so I'm glad that he's speaking out about that. But I don't know. I just think that Warner Brothers needs to realize that not every franchise needs to follow the Marvel in their footsteps. I mean, it's like I said, I understand. I get it because they're so successful and good at what they do, but not every, it's just, I think they're just special in that way. What they do works for them, and that's why they keep doing it. But I won't ramble. I just kind of wanted to share that with you because I thought it was interesting that he mentioned that and he said that. Another thing I wanted to share with you guys is this really cool thing. Netflix shared it and Zack Snyder shared it. This group of fans, I think they might be brothers or if they're just friends, I can't remember, but they remade the Army of the Dead trailer. And Zach got to see it and react to it and have a little chat with them. And it's just really cool. It's so awesome that Netflix actually shared it and, Zach got to speak with them and they did such an amazing job. So I want to share that with you in case you haven't seen it. You probably have, but it's just a really cool thing. And it's pretty awesome that, like I said, that Zach actually got to see what they did. So let's watch it. 3, 2, 1, play.
Look out! Look out for the zombie tiger dog.
It's a goddamn zombie tiger.
That is crossing the line. I wonder how they got him to bark. That's cool. I want that piece of cardboard for my office. That's amazing. Hey, guys.
This is a big privilege for us.
Oh, no, for me. You guys did such an amazing job. That thing is amazing.
We are hoping one day we'll be global director like you.
It's for sure going to happen. So, yeah, it's amazing.
That's very cool.
How'd you get the dog to bark?
We were actually planning on using a cat. You know, they couldn't give us the expression we wanted. Yes.
It's a really good job. And then, like, I like that when I was watching it, and then there was the explosion. I'm like, oh no, real fire! Like, you seem to like have all the angles. You know how to like make the shots. I'm ready to see your movie. What do you guys have in mind?
Very
Anything?
cool.
Every day we do dream and hoping and praying that one day, someday, we get to like do our own film. We are huge movie fans. We like appreciate the movie so much. That's like the reason why we are doing like a recreation of movies. Yes.
From when I was about 11, I started making movies as a kid. My big film, I did a remake of Apocalypse Now, set in my boarding school. And I did a lot of Star Wars fan films too, of course. Like I did a lot of stop action. So yes, I get it.
So my brother just brought this stuff.
Yes! Yes!
Story by Zack Snyder.
I'm excited he is for that. So cool. The cardboard.
And Joey Aotd, directed by
You guys are well on your way. I can't wait to see your movie soon. I'm sure it's going to be awesome. Keep doing what you're doing. It's awesome.
Thank you so much. It really means a lot.
That was really cool that Netflix shared that. Zach shared it. If you want to see you can watch their whole recreation side by side with the Army of the Dead trailer. It's so awesome. It's so cool that, very creative. The Ikarudo boys, they said, Zack Snyder definitely love our remake of Army of the Dead. Things like this makes us happy. Thank you, Netflix, for putting this together. P.S. We're sending him the cardboard ASAP. It was really cool that he said that he wants that in his office. It's just awesome to see Zach's appreciation for the fans and vice versa. Seeing fans, show their love and admiration for what Zach does with his films, and very cool, so creative, and just Zach, giving them credit and showing his appreciation for what the fans do for him and how much we appreciate. And I love seeing the international love and support for Zach because it's really important. So I want to share that with you guys. It's really cool. Go ahead, please do watch their side by side, their recreation of the Army of the Dead trailer. It's pretty awesome. So do that and show their support for it. It's really cool. And again, hashtag Restore the Snyderverse on Twitter. All right, so make sure you do that. But thank you guys for the support. Thank you for watching, and share thoughts and all that stuff. Leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you guys next time.